Before I start this video, here's a common disclaimer that I've used in my videos many times. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, because some things will be spoiled in this video. Okay, so with that out of the way, on to said video. Hi there, you guys. This is Dragon Ball and Cartoon Fan 2004 here, and today in this video, I've got yet another review for you guys for today, and this one will be about Vanilla Rabbit Lover 2001 Productions. Wow, when was the last time I reviewed this guy's stuff? Pretty sure since I did the Cartman 2 review last year. But yeah, okay, so if you guys didn't know the news, lately Vanilla Rabbit Lover 2001 Productions, ever since, he got his tablet back, he came back to YouTube and, he's back on the doing spoof films, that stuff I explained in that reaction video I did to his Iago Shrek cast video. And yeah, he's getting back on the doing spoof films, and for over the past week or two, he's been working on his Toon Story movies, and he's already almost done with the third movie. And yeah, he figured within the meantime, as he's finishing up the third movie, he commented on that one text video that I had scheduled to come out today about, a few of my favorite moments from the second Naruto Shippuden movie. He commented on that video asking me if I could review his first two Toon Story movies for the series today, since Toon Story 3 is almost done. Even though his original plan, he originally wanted me to give each of the three movies their own video. But no, he changed his mind and decided to have me cover the first two movies in this video right here, review the first two movies in this one video, and then give Toon Story 3 a long review. And he wants that review to be an hour long because, yeah, there's a bunch of unique ideas and stuff that I'll have to cover in that. So, and yeah, it's a lot more of a horror film, a lot more aimed at the adults than the original Toy Story 3 movie is. And he wants that review to be an hour long. Hopefully I can make that work with the storage space on this phone. I have uninstalled a bunch of the apps I've been using to bring back my long canceled Far Far Away Idol project for my Vegeta 2 project, just so I can have enough storage space to do this review in case if it ends up being really long. I don't know how long this review is going to be, but I'll try not to drag on too long with it. Get to the touch, get to the thing, and go over the casting choices, unique ideas, and all that stuff. And yeah, and I do remember almost 2 years ago he did his own Toon Story series, where he had Discord from My Little Piece of Shit, Be Woody, and the CGI reboot Garfield, Be Buzz. Now, are these movies better than those old movies of his? Well, you're about to find out in this review. Yeah, and originally I was writing down all the casting choices. Before I saw his reply back to me saying that he already got community posts telling me what casting choices to go over. I was just writing down casting choices from the first two movies to go over in this review, and possibly some unique ideas as I was having my Dragon Ball Z box set on from the Xbox in the background. But then he replied to me telling me about these community posts, and I was like, okay, forget this paper down. All right, now I got the community post pull up on my laptop, go over the casting choices and all that. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get started with this review. If you guys want to watch the Toon Story movies, the links will be in the description. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so first off, for Woody, you got Kyle from South Park as Woody. And I think that's a really good casting choice. A million times better than how he had Discord be Woody for that old Toon Story. Don't even get me started on that. It might be the best out of all the My Little Pony casting choices in the old Toon Story series, but still, it's crap. It's for My Little Pony. No My Little Pony casting choice can be good. And yeah, but yeah, Kyle's Woody, much better, nice upgrade. But as for the casting choice for Buzz, I think this casting choice right here is an upgrade. And yeah, this casting choice for Buzz is my favorite character from the only preschool show I love, Bluey. Because like I've said before, I originally didn't really like Bluey as much. I thought it was an okay show, but too preschool friendly when I first saw it off Disney Junior last year. But the more I watch it, the more I love it, and the more I agree with James from the Odd Ones Out on it. It's a great show. It's at least an A+ tier show for me now, if not an S tier. Yeah, I'm sorry, Fossa, but I love Bluey. The only preschool show I love. And Bandit is pretty much my favorite preschool character. And you have him, Bandit, as Buzz. What do I think about that? Awesome casting choice. Bandit is a great character. He's my favorite character in Bluey. And Rabbit Lover has also agreed with me on one of his live streams that Bandit is the best character in Bluey. Yeah, the other characters are cool too, but Bandit is the best. He's a great character, and he's a great father to Bluey and Bingo. Yeah, and seeing him be Buzz is really good here. Although, am I the only person who feels that he'd be a better casting choice for Woody than Buzz? I feel like I'm not saying he's a bad choice for Buzz. No, he's a really good choice for Buzz. I think I prefer it slightly over than how he had the CGI reboot Garfield be Buzz for his old Toon Story series, because I think I'd rather watch Bluey than the Garfield show. But I like him as Buzz, but I prefer him as Woody. I think if I were to do another Toy Story spoof cast, which I've been thinking about maybe doing since I love Toy Story so much, in a similar way I love Shrek, I was thinking of having Bandit be Woody and Vegeta from Dragon Ball be Buzz. But yeah, Bandit as a Buzz is probably still my favorite casting choice from this casting. Yeah, let's continue on. Next up, you got Bo Peep played by Fiona, the fairy tale Teletubbies. Like it's like fan made character as Bo, and I guess it makes sense to do that since yeah, Kyle doesn't really have a spouse in South Park, but I don't have an opinion on that. But I guess it works. Although Teletubbies doesn't seem like that interesting of a show to me. So yeah, even if I do watch Teletubbies, I don't think I'll ever get that much into this casting choice. Now next up is another casting choice I really like, and it's from Benson, one of my favorite characters from regular show. It's Mr. Potato Head. Yeah, really good casting choice. And I think Rabbit Lover told me on that one live stream I did on that Naruto game I got for the Switch for Christmas last year that he doesn't think like any other regular show character would be a good choice for Mr. Potato Head, and I think I can agree with him on that. Yeah, even though you got Muscle Man, like yeah, Muscle Man's like way meaner than Benson, but I think it's like a different type of mean from how Benson is mean in regular show. I think Benson is a really good choice for Mr. Potato Head. Granted, he's not as nearly as mean as Mr. Potato Head is, but still, I think his mean personality fits Mr. Potato Head like a lot better than Muscle Man's does with Mr. Potato Head. So yeah, Mr. Potato Head, being played by Benson, is right up there with Bandit as Buzz, with as some of my favorite casting choices from this Toon Story series of his. Next, you got Johnny Test from Next you got Johnny from Johnny Test as Ham. Pretty good. Pretty good. Although I do prefer him how he's had him be Donkey for like previous Shrek spoof films, but still him as Ham's good. I remember how he was originally going to have him be Buzz before he got into Bluey. That was a bad mistake. He's definitely a much better casting choice for Ham. Next up is Slinky Dog from Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, that's not bad. I've never played the Ratchet and Clank games, although I have a bit of experience with them. Like I've seen like a bit of cutscenes off of YouTube. I've definitely seen people use the Ratchet and Clank a lot in these spoofs, and yeah, it does seem pretty fitting. Next up is Spike from My Little Pony. Rex. Okay, kids, you might want to look away from this. I mean, I did already cuss earlier in the video, but okay, here's a quick sign that shows you guys how I feel about every single My Little Pony casting choice and this cast, and pretty much every other My Little Pony casting choice, probably in any other spoof ever. Here it is. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, yeah. That middle finger applies to every single My Little Pony casting choice in his cast of his. But yeah, I'm not gonna be done ranting about My Little Pony in this video. But yeah, all the My Little Pony casting choices are checked off, whether they're extra casting choices or non-extra casting choices. They all suck because My Little Pony is an overrated, overused, garbage little girl show that does not deserve to be used this much in these spoofs. Come on, we got King of the Hill not being used as nearly as much in these spoofs. It's a sad shame. But yeah, next up, here's another casting choice from a show I love. Next up, you got Double D from Ed, and Eddie as Andy. Yeah, that's pretty good. Although I think it'd be better if you had someone younger be Andy. Like I feel Jimmy from Ed, and Eddie would be a better casting choice for Andy than Double D. But Double D is not a bad choice for Andy. I would say it's much better than if you were to have let's say Eddie be Andy. That would be bad. That would be bad. Even if it was like the younger version of Eddie. Yeah, Double D's Andy, like not bad, but I think there's a much better Ed and Ed casting choice in this cast, and I'll go over that right now. Which is Kevin as Sid, which is a casting choice which is a pretty common casting choice. Like I used it for my Toy Story Dragon Ball Cartoon Fan 2004 style cast I did last year for the 4th of July, and Akuma the Gods or whoever the hell his name is used it for his Toy Story 1 spoof project. And I've seen other people use that casting choice. Yeah, it's a really good casting choice. I definitely prefer it over Double D as Andy. Okay, what's next to go over? Next up, you got Molly and Andy's mom being played by Princess Peach and an older version of Peach from the Mario movie. Yeah, that's pretty good. I still haven't seen the Mario movie. I need to freaking watch that movie. I need to freaking watch that movie. It might be available somewhere online right now. I really need to watch that movie. I wanted to get it for my birthday and Christmas last year, but I couldn't get it on DVD. So yeah, I really gotta watch that movie. It looks like a really good movie. I'll watch it one day. But I still really like these casting choices right here since they're Mario related. So yeah, next up is Sissy from Johnny Test's Hannah Phillips. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's probably more fitting than how he has Johnny Test's Ham. Chaos from Sonic X's Babyface, another good one. Legs, Leon Carbon from South Park. That's another good one. Though I probably prefer how he had her be an extra for his Cartman Shrek movies. But maybe that's not a very fair comparison since Legs barely gets any screen time in Toy Story. The Hand in Sid's Room, already another shitty My Little Pony casting choice. Brace Face casting choice. Don't have an opinion on that much of an opinion on that show. Elf Boss is Jiggle Joe from Elf Boss from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay. Next up, you got Sally, played by Cream the Rabbit from Sonic. Really good casting choice. Not the best Sonic casting choice, but still good. Another Sonic casting choice that's in this is a Sonic the Hedgehog himself as RC. Yeah, that's fine, but I think it would be better if he had RC be himself, or have like a car character be RC, like someone from Cars, like Lightning McQueen or Mater. I think one of those would be a much better casting choice for RC than have Sonic be him. But still, that's better. Still way better than any of the My Little Pony casting choices. Yeah, Lenny being played by Tails the Fox. That's a better Sonic casting choice in my opinion. And another better Sonic casting choice is Knuckles as Rocky. That might be the best Sonic casting choice in this series of his. Or no, he did have an extra casting choice with Shadow for his Toon Story 3 project. I'll cover that in the next review. Toy Shark being played by Jonathan Brooklyn T Guy's little brother from SML. That's pretty funny. I like Jonathan. He's the funny little brother of my favorite SML character, the Brooklyn T Guy. Brooklyn T Guy is awesome. Totally Spies characters as Little Tykes. Don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on that. Haven't seen much of Totally Spies. Sarge uh, being played by Soul from A Bug's Life. Snake and Robot being played by Cartman Kenny from South Park. Another really good South Park casting choice. Etch, or as he called him, Edge by mistake, is played by the computer from Courage the Cowardly Dog. That's another really good one. Bo Peep Sheep, more my little piece of garbage casting choices. More Teletubbies casting choices. Gromit, Wallace, and Gromit as Mike seems fitting. Mr. Spell being played by Cordy. Oh yeah, the computer from VeggieTales. That's another good computer casting choice. And you also got the ants from the ants as the soldiers, are just soldiers. I haven't really seen the ants movie. I've seen like bits of it off YouTube, but that's about it. I do know about it being a Bugs movie, like how a Bugs Life is, so I can see where he's coming from in this casting choice, and it does seem pretty fitting since you already have that Bugs Life character Soil as Sarge. Uh, all right, now moving on. Okay, now let's move on to the Toy Story 2 casting choices. First up, you got since Benson doesn't really have a spouse in regular show. Oh no, he does. He does. He ends up with Pam. Yeah, Pam. Yeah, I think Pam. Yeah, that's her name. At the end of regular show, but you know, I guess I could see why Rabbit Lover didn't decide to have Pam be Mrs. Potato Head, because she's like too nice. She's way too nice to be Mrs. Potato Head. So he instead had her be played by his elephant plush toy. Yeah, that's fine, and not as nearly as good as how he has Benson as Mr. Potato Head, but still that works fine. And you also got Chili from Bluey being played as Jesse, which I think is really good. And you also have a Stinky Pete being played by Sideshow Bob, which is a voice actor reference because they're both voiced by the same actor, and I didn't even know they were voiced by the same actor until I saw his cast video. Pretty cool. Next up, you got Zurg from Johnny Test's Dark Beacon. That's really good. It might be the best Johnny Test casting choice in this cast. And next up, you got G Major Bandit from Bluey as the utility but Buzz Lightyear. This led to the lines for utility but Buzz being played in different quality. And yeah, I really like this idea. Nice take. It's a much better idea than to have a completely different character be the utility but Buzz and consider that to be another bandit. Like, come on, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I like this G Major idea for the utility but Buzz. I think it works pretty well. Next up, you got Scrooge, and you got DuckTales casting choices as a red and blue robot. That's good. I watched some of the DuckTales reboot in 2017, and if you haven't seen my animated shows of all time tier list, I think it's an A tier show. And you also got Buster from The Simpsons as a. You also got Sam's little helper from The Simpsons as Buster. That's a really good casting choice. And another really good SML casting choice. You got Goodman from Super Mario Logan as Al. That's a really good casting choice. That's pretty funny. Maybe I would probably say it's more fitting than how he has Jonathan as the Toy Shark. And another cool SML casting choice is that you got the Brooklyn T Guy as Gary. That's pretty good. Although even though Brooklyn T Guy is my favorite character, I would probably say I think maybe Jackie Chu would be a better casting choice for Gary. But so this works well as someone who is a fan of the Brooklyn T Guy. Next up, okay, now considering all the Bluey casting choices, you got some extra Bluey casting choices, and you got Bingo and Bluey themselves as the extra casting choices for Bandit and Chili, and I really like that as a Bluey fan, even though I don't really like Bingo and Bluey as much as Bandit and Chili, but it makes sense why. But so no hate on Bluey and Bingo; they're still a really good duo, and they're a nice sister duo. But I definitely prefer Bandit and Chili over them. It makes sense since I'm an adult now. But so that casting choice works really well, and yeah. Oh yeah, he also put something in the community post saying that note the first two movies were supposed to have their own standalone reviews, but then something backfired. Okay. All right, next I want to talk about like the quality of this whole spoof project of his. So far, I think the quality, I think the quality of Rabbit Lover's Toon Story series is really good. You know, he did a good job with like filming the footage of the characters and all that stuff. And yeah, the quality of his videos is getting better. But something to note with this new Toon Story revival series of his, I noticed that there were certain parts that were parts that didn't need to be remade that much. So yeah, with the parts that he didn't need to change that much, he re-recorded old footage from his original Toon Story revival series from last year, which sadly got canceled. And yeah, he re-recorded those and re-uploaded them on the YouTube. Which yeah, I could see why he'd do that, and I don't blame him for doing that because there doesn't need to be that many changes to these parts if they're using the same casting choices and ideas. But I. If Rabbit Lover, in case if you have to do this again, which you probably won't have to, but in case you have to do that again, if you were to do that again, I would suggest you take the link of the video that you need to re-upload and like download it onto your phone or tablet or whatever, and just re-upload that on the YouTube in better quality instead of re-recording it in worse quality. But yeah, to be fair though, I'm not calling him an idiot for not knowing to do that. I can see why he wouldn't know to do that. I didn't know the whole thing about downloading videos for your YouTube videos for my own YouTube videos like years after I started being a YouTuber. So yeah, I can see how he wouldn't think about doing that. Not that he's an idiot. I could see how he wouldn't think about doing that, so it's fair. But just for future preference. So yeah, it's not exactly a bad thing that he did that, but I still think it would have been better if he had just download them and re-upload them, and let people know that this is a re-upload from my older Toon Story movie. Yeah. The quality though is still pretty good. He's getting better with the quality of his videos, especially now that he has the UCut app, which is an app that I've used to make my videos for like over the past 2.5 years at this point. So yeah, it's cool that he's learning cool stuff with the UCut app. I still think he could be better with doing the UCut app, but still he's not really he's getting used to using stuff with the UCut app. He's not fully used to everything that he could do with the UCut app. So yeah, I'm sure he'll learn eventually as he keeps doing his spoof films and stuff. Okay. But yeah, there's a bunch of unique ideas to cover with this series of his. Like, first of all, what did he do for the scene where Buzz accidentally gets his helmet removed by Woody? Well, does Bandit wear a helmet? Hell no. Hell no, he doesn't wear a helmet at all. So what he did instead, he had like Kyle and Bluey do this thing that Bluey and Bingo did in the first episode of Bluey, where they used like the xylophone or whatever to freeze Bandit, and then he had Kyle beat up Bandit, but he didn't show the beating up. He instead put up this text that says, "Sorry, I couldn't make a picture of Kyle beating up Bandit while he's frozen. I just don't want anyone to think I'm being offense or hating on Australians because I really do respect Australian people." Yeah, yeah, I can see how he would feel the need to do that. Yeah, don't. He did not mean to offend any Australians with this. Just because he has an Australian dog getting beat up, that does not mean he meant to offend Australians. No, Australians are cool, and I'm even YouTube friends with one of them. Okay, but yeah, he did the xylophone thing and have like Bandit get beat up, and I think that's a much better idea than to have Kyle accidentally remove Bandit's helmet. Yeah, which still would have been funny to see, but come on, it wouldn't make sense because does Bandit wear a space? No, no. I don't ever see Bluey characters going up to space. Like if there's any Bluey episode where they do go up to space, I'd probably like to see it. But come on, he doesn't need to wear a helmet. That wouldn't make sense. So yeah, I definitely prefer this idea. What he did with having Kyle beat up Bandit, and having Bandit get frozen by the xylophone, like what happened to him in the first episode, Bluey. Yeah, definitely much prefer that idea. Another unique idea he did was like he did scenes where Bluey is all sad, so Fiona goes to talk to her, and he has like sad music and stuff playing in the background, which I like, and I would really like to know the name of that sad music he used, Rabbit Lover. Do you think maybe you could tell me that in the comments? If you don't remember the name of the song, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just curious. But yeah, he also did like scenes of like Bluey missing her father and Fiona trying to make her feel better. Yeah, that makes sense. That's so natural. Of course, Bluey would have to miss her father after him being gone for so long. Because come on, he's her father, and he's such a great father too. It makes perfect sense. Now let's go over some unique ideas they did for when Woody gets his arm ripped in Toy Story 2. Now let's go over, focus more on Toy Story 2, where Kyle gets his arm, was supposed to get his arm ripped. Yeah, he could have had Kyle get his arm ripped, but that wouldn't make as much sense as the way he did here, which is have his glove get ripped instead. Yeah, that makes sense because Kyle does wear his gloves like it's his job. So yeah, it makes more sense to have his gloves get ripped than to have Woody's arm than to have his arm get ripped. I remember your animated 18 doing something like that for Sonic, having his gloves get ripped instead of his arm for his cartoon character Story 2 project. That was a nice touch too, and it works just as well here. All right, here's another remove helmet scene that I want to cover. Okay, so for the scene in Toy Story 2 when the utility Buzz is trying to explain about how he's the real Buzz and how the real Buzz is the imposter. And, helmet Bud, the real Buzz takes off the utility Buzz's helmet. What do you do as a substitute for that? They have the real Bandit take off the G Major Bandit's helmet, which he doesn't have. No. What we did instead was have a Bandit and Bluey all work together to do this xylophone trick that I was talking about earlier, and they kill the G Major Bandit. Yeah, I was expecting to see the G Major Bandit, say goodbye to them, to the gang, in the normal way the utility Buzz did in the film by having him play fetch with Vegan after fighting with him. Yeah, I was also expecting to see a G Major Bandit versus Vegan fight scene, but no. Instead, he had the G Major Bandit die here, and with like turquoise blood, and which confused Johnny. I think that's a really good idea. I was so expecting him to not go that soon, but he did. He did it right here, and I think that's a really good idea. This also led to for the fight scene where G Major Bandit is supposed to fight Vegan. Well, since G Major Bandit's dead, how the hell can he fight Vegan? So instead, he had the real Bandit fight Vegan. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool way he did it. And okay, I'm going to say this. If there's any good thing he did in this Toon Story series with My Little Pony characters, it's the fact that he had Spike, intentionally defeat Vegan by pushing him off. And yeah, as much as I hate My Little Pony, I have to admit that's a much better idea for Spike to do that than to have him accidentally knock a Vegan over, because I think Spike's too small for that to work. It makes a lot more sense for a Vegan to get intentionally knocked off by Spike. Yeah, I'm sure that's a unique idea that Rabbit Lover either easily came up with himself, or he got the idea from the end of this clip video I did of Toy Story 2 last year.
Buzz, you could have defeated Zurg all along. You just need to believe in yourself.
Prepare to die.
Don't worry, Sasuke. I'll take care of him for you.
No, don't! I did it. I finally defeated Zurg.
Father.
Itachi, no. Don't worry, Sasuke. Let's play fetch with Itachi later in the film. Okay, sorry about that, but I do really like that clip video I did last year, Toy Story 2, where I got to make my own shorter version of the awesome Sasuke versus Itachi fight in Shippuden. But okay, whatever. Let's get back on to this Toon Story revival series. Let's continue on with more of the My Little Pony stuff. For more of the My Little Pony stuff, he added fucking My Little Pony, Equestria Girls, extra characters, extra casting choices on this stuff. And I noticed that there was even one point where he recorded Equestria Girls footage. Showed nothing but Equestria Girls footage for over 2 damn minutes straight. I'm sorry, that was so hard to sit through. That was terrible. That was so hard to sit through. It really does keep this movie from being a masterpiece. Oh my god, that was terrible. That was so abysmal, so unacceptable. I have no idea what you guys see in that trashy little girl show. Why did you... We have so many great shows out there that don't get as used as nearly as much as My Little Pony. So, seriously, I'll never get why you guys love this show so much and put this show in your spoofs. I can't stand it. Oh my god. That's easily the worst part of these movies. That over 2 minutes of Equestria Girls footage. I'm sorry, I couldn't sit through that. That was so hard to sit through. That was terrible. Terrible. But whatever. Let's continue on. Now let's go over, with that stuff out of the way, let's go over yet another unique idea that I actually really like. And that is, okay, for the final battle, that one final battle between Woody and Stinky Pete after Stinky Pete knocks Buzz over. He had he had Kyle and Sideshow Bob fight against each other, and he has Kyle have so much trouble fighting against Sideshow Bob to the point where Fiona shows up to save Kyle against Sideshow Bob, and they both work together against Sideshow Bob. And I thought that was a really cool idea. Having the casting choice for Bo Peep show up to help Kyle out. That was a really cool and unique idea that I was not expecting. And it also makes me wonder how it would have been if Bo had actually shown up in Toy Story 2 to team up with Woody, or team up with any of the other toys, helped him out, helped him get Woody back instead of just staying at Andy's house with Mrs. Potato Head. Yeah, that makes me wonder. That's a cool what if. That's a cool what if. I'd probably like to see someone make that into a what if video. I'm not saying it's needed. I'm not saying I'm dying for someone to make that into a what if video. But I think if someone were to make that into a Toy Story what if video, I think that it would be interesting to see. So yeah, this was a cool idea right here. And yeah, he was gonna have like Sideshow Bob was gonna get arrested for the bad stuff he's done, since he's a terrible Toon. But no, instead he suffers the same fate that Stinky Pete did at the end of Toy Story 2, being in that girl's back, being on that girl's backpack and all that. Yeah, nicely done, nicely done. This was a cool team up between Kyle and Fiona, and yeah, a nice unexpected, maybe I guess you could say Deus Ex Machina from Fiona. Yeah, there's a lot of cool, unique ideas that he's done in this Toon Story series. It's hard to pick which idea is my favorite. He did a lot of cool ones, even though easily the worst one was like, oh my god, the extras with all the My Little Pony, Equestria Girls casting choices. Like, oh my god, man, was that really necessary to do? Haven't you suck off that garbage show enough in your spoofs? No offense, but you know what I mean. Whatever. But overall, yeah, I think this project is like serviceable. I think the series of his is serviceable. It's decent. I like the unique ideas he had in. There's a lot of casting choice I like with Bandit as Buzz and Benson as Mr. Potato. And not to mention he had Ferdinand from the first Tom and Jerry movie as Scud, which I thought was really good. But there's some problems with it. Like there's some like the quality is inconsistent at certain parts since he re-recorded some old parts from his old Toon Story revival series from last year in the worst quality, and there's all the My Little Pony crap, and all this other stuff. And yeah, the quality of his videos are still not the best for spoofs, but still, he's getting better. He's getting better. He's improving with the quality of his spoofs and whatnot. He probably wouldn't be able to make quality spoofs like in this good of quality if you were to do these Toon Story movies in the same quality as, let's say, his Dookie 1 Shrek 1 movie spoof project. But yeah, overall, so how do I feel about the series overall? Well, it's far from perfect. It's far from perfect. It's definitely not the best Toon Story. It's definitely not the best Toy Story spoof series I've seen. Mario's Like Philly Fans is much better. And yeah, I also think I prefer Yesenia the Hedgehog's Toy Story series, where she had Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Be Woody and the Grinch from the Illumination Grinch movie Be Buzz. But this still, I wouldn't say it's bad. Is it better than his old Toy Story 2 spoof films from his old Toy Story spoof films for the first two movies in 2022? Yes, it was, but not by much, by a little bit. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give these movies a 6 out of 10. It would be higher if it wasn't for all the My Little Pony okay, I'll stop. But you know what I mean. If it wasn't for that, it would have been higher, like an 8 or 9 out of 10. Maybe like an 8 or 9 out of 10. But because there's so many My Little Pony in it, My Little Pony usually has to constantly come into Rabbit Lover spoof films and ruin the party. It gets a lower score. I don't think it deserves anything more than a 6 out. It gets a 6 out of 10, and I think like a B or C tier. It's better than his old Toy Story spoof films for the first two movies from 2022, but not by much. But it is still definitely better. I definitely rather watch this a bunch of times than that old Toon Story series of his from 2022, because there's some stuff I really like from it, like the cool, unique ideas and all these casting choices. Like definitely some of my favorite parts from this new Toon Story series of his was the part where Kyle and Bandit are lost at the gas station, although that part is admittedly better to watch off his old Toon Story revival series from last year, where it's not re-recorded in worse quality. And I also really like the opening to Toon Story 2 too, with Bandit, venturing through in his game and all that, Fine Dark Vegan. Really cool part. Those two parts are really good parts that don't have any My Little Pony in them. So that's cool. Maybe I'll make a playlist that shows all the parts of a Rabbit Lover's Toon Story revival series that don't have My Little Pony in them. I might make that playlist like sometime after I review Toon Story 3. But yeah, maybe I'll make that sometime afterwards. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts on Rabbit Lover's Toon Story movies for the first two movies, his revival movies. They're serviceable, they're decent, and they're better than his old Toon Story movies, but not way better. A bit, like marginally. If I were to put them on a tier list, I would probably put them in like B minus tier, or maybe like C plus tier, Maybe I'll make a tier list of Rabbit Lover's Toy Story, Shrek, and Toy Story spoof films after I review Toon Story 3. Who knows? I do have like other ideas for tier lists in my head with spoofs and stuff, so maybe I'll get to those like after I do the Toon Story 3 review, or after I finally get out Far Far Away Idol for my Vegeta project or something. But yeah, that's overall my opinion on his Toon Story movies. They're definitely not bad, but they're not that great either. So what do you guys think of his Toon Story movies? If you've seen them, you can let me know in the comment section down below, and you can look forward to the Toon Story 3 review that's coming soon. And hopefully this review is enough to satisfy you, a Rabbit Lover, for the first two Toon Story revival movies. And yeah, that's about it for this video, you guys. Relevant links will be in the description below, like with the clips I added in and clips to Rabbit Lover and all that. So yeah, that's it for this video, you guys. Bye everyone, and thank you all for watching this video.